What's going on, internet? Brandon here from Nerdlocker.com, and I have a movie review for you. I got to see It. What is it? Is it? What is it? All right, I'm not gonna do that, I promise. Sorry. This is one of the most highly anticipated horror movies for me. I didn't get into horror until probably around high school, and I waited a long time to watch the original It because growing up, everyone told me how terrifying it was, and in high school, everyone told me how terrifying it was. So I really waited a long time to watch it. So the original movie didn't have the effect on me that it had on a lot of other people, but I still, Tim Curry did an amazing job. I always thought the book was terrifying as well. I just think we're at the point where we're getting some better horror movies, and this had a lot of promise. So short review, it 100% delivered. The movie starts out with Georgie, the scene where Bill is making him the boat, and he goes out and talks to It in the sewers, and that definitely sets the tone for the rest of the movie. There was a lot that was kind of overlooked and they couldn't do, and they couldn't get too graphic with it because the original It was just a TV miniseries, for those of you that didn't ever know that. From the get-go, we see It bite off Georgie's arm, and he's just crawling back, covered in blood, and it really just, set the tone for the movie. We flash forward a year, and other kids have gone missing, and the Losers Club is, they're getting ready for summer, and everybody feels for Bill because he lost his brother, and you can tell that, Bill in this isn't convinced that Georgie's dead. He's convinced that he's still out there somewhere and that he survived. And a lot of his other friends don't have the heart to tell him that he's probably dead. It's been a year. He's a little kid. Even if he, lived through the sewer, anything could have happened. So there's a lot of kind of hesitation that they want to go out and they want to be kids. They want to enjoy their summer, but they don't want to let him down and, kill this for him. And the one thing I really liked about this movie is that all of these kids are fighting It, this terrifying creature, and kids are going missing, and they start to realize that this thing is taking the kids, and you don't know what they're doing with them, but, he's killing them. But every kid has something to deal with outside of that at home. They really touch on Bev and the shit with her father, which I thought was done really. They don't blatantly say, there's molestation and all that, but it's super, super, super heavily implied. And it's fucking rough, man. But all these kids have something else going on, that you either go outside and you get beat up by a bully or harassed or picked on, they're the Losers Club. Or you'll get isolated by yourself, and this fucking clown is trying to murder you. It's really tough to be a kid in this town. One of the things I really liked was that a lot of the scares were changed up, and that's because they wanted to keep it original. They didn't want you to know what was coming. There were a few that were, spot on with the book, but they definitely wanted to make it its own thing. Now, as far as the acting goes, I can't say enough great things about Bill Skarsgård. He was so fucking terrifying to me. It was unbelievable. Tim Curry's portrayal of It is so iconic, and it, as a horror movie fan, and I know as other horror movie fans, it's held in very high regard. And even Bill Skarsgård was afraid of, not doing it right. He's so terrifying, and there were things about the way It moved. It was different in every scene. It did different things. He moved differently. He approached things just a little bit differently. But there was this overall just fucking uncomfortableness the whole time. He would drool. The eyes would, kind of fade out to the side, which I heard he can actually do in real life. They were going to do that CGI, and Bill Skarsgård was like, check this out, and fucking did it. And they, cool, saving money on that. He deserves to be nominated for something for this. He was terrifying. What an incredible job. And honestly, everybody else in the movie killed it. I don't know where they found all these kids. We had Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things, and he was hilarious. But there were definitely some scenes where he's freaking out, he's terrified. All these kids were just amazing actors. You guys know I'm bad with names. Jaeden Lieberher, Sophia Lillis as Bev, Jeremy Ray Taylor, Chosen Jacobs, Jack Dylan Grazer, Wyatt Oleff. Nicholas Hamilton was so sadistic in this. I can't imagine what these people went through to prepare for some of these roles, just being younger. Like, this has to take kind of a toll on you, you know, being this terrified. Everyone did such a good job. And honestly, one of the best actors in the whole movie, Jackson Robert Scott, who played Georgie. You know, it starts out and he's you know, this little brother, and he's talking to it in the sewer, and he's terrified. And when you see him a couple other times, it's it manifesting Georgie to fuck with Bill, but he has to scream, and he's just fucked up, and he's like molding away, and then he's sad, and he's trying to, like, you know, manipulate Bill's feelings. This little kid was so good. I hope this movie does well. I think this could be good things for horror. You know, I want to say in the last 5 or 10 years, we've had a lot better horror movies than we have for some decades. You know, there's definitely been good ones in between then, but consistently, I was a huge fan of the Insidious movies. I'm a huge fan of the Conjuring movies. Annabelle, the prequel to Annabelle. I think we're getting to a point here where horror's starting to be taken a lot more seriously, and it's not just, you know, shitty slasher bullshit. There's some really good ones too that have flown under the radar that I've really enjoyed. And I think a movie like this, if this could be the #1 movie in America, this could open doors to a lot more horror movies. So please go see this if you haven't. I enjoyed the shit out of it. Now I know you want it all, but you can't have it. All right, I'm done with the Faith No More references, I'm sorry. But I say that because this was just part 1. That's the other main difference between the original TV series and this, is that this is just the kids. It ends with part 1. Part 2, we will be getting the adult version when they all go back and finally defeat it. But honestly, I can't say enough good things about this movie. I plan on seeing it a couple times. I'm going with anybody who wants to go, because it's so nice to have a quality horror film. And all the feedback I've been getting from friends and everything else, everybody loves it. So check this out. I'm easily giving this 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll be back soon, and until then, you guys have a nerdy week.